we had high school under control. It wasn't, when we all know in high school we're worried about drinking and driving and we're first dealing with these issues. And so with our son, we didn't have the conversation about that this is going to be different. We had had many conversations in high school.
She came to Miami and I would say was not a very active partier in high school. I felt that she had a good head on her shoulders and that she would be responsible because she was very mindful of her academic career.
He was involved, he got right into a fraternity, and the fraternity was probably the best thing that ever happened to my son. He was more to himself, not as social, and so the fraternity provided a real brotherhood.
I remember sitting in orientations and they were saying, we're going to have conversations with some of you because some of your kids are going to get into serious trouble.
We were talking and I had mentioned that I saw her in a picture with a red cup, and I said, are you drinking? Or, she said, well, I'm in college.
In that environment, there was a lot of drinking. What happened was it began to be a problem for him. And I tried to stay on top of it and I tried to stay involved in his life, but he was hiding it and I didn't know about it.
This thing about binge drinking, we learned the hard way that it's real. And it's so hard for the kids to avoid it.
What is the safe way to drink? What are the decisions around going uptown? What are the decisions around staying in your residence hall? How can we work together to stay safe? And those are all resources and options that can be available to students and to parents as well to have those conversations, whether it's accessing information online, whether it's talking to our different offices on campus, but really finding out and having that conversation before anything were to happen.
When someone drinks themselves to a point of unconsciousness, that's a medical emergency, that's a medical crisis, and it needs to be addressed by a physician, not by a well-intending student who tries to put someone in bed on their side or tries to put them in a shower to get them energized. They really need to be calling us to help our students.
What we talked about was what the role alcohol plays in one's life. And I talked about how I used alcohol and what it meant to me.
College is kind of where, whether your parents are paying or not, this is you, this is your life. You're an adult, and now this is how you need to embrace every distraction and every influence outside of your family. You want to always be in control of your behaviors.
To stay involved in your kids' lives.
Hey, look, son, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. You're making some choices that you weren't making in high school. Why? And I linked it to his life, and that was, I think, the good that came out of the bad, if you will.
Kids are going to do things behind the scenes. They're going to try to hide things from you. They're not going to want to be transparent because they're embarrassed or they're fearful or they're anxious or they're feeling the stress of school or peer pressure. But always being there to listen to them and talk to them and provide examples for them about what responsible drinking is.